It's Monday, so Brad and I were just discussing how much of a WSSY Dylan is.
Yeah, what's he at?
Well, I can't say the old P word, but we'll call him the P word. He hasn't even made it 2 months here, and he called out sick. He must have got his period, like most women. So Brad and I were discussing the Honda Accord engines, the turbocharged 18, 19, 18 and 17, 18, and 19s?
Yeah.
17, 18, and 19s. How Honda is not reaching out to their customers and saying, hey, we have a major issue with these engines, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. The maintenance practices that we have told you do not work for this engine. You need to change your oil much more frequently, have GDIs and fuel injection services done much more frequently. And let me give you a little gist of it. So you may be driving along, you may start your Honda up and it misfires and runs rough, and then it starts to run good with no warning lights. If it misfires long enough, it will put the vehicle into limp mode and illuminate your dash with every warning feature that it has to alert you that something's wrong with your car. You may also make it past a cold start and then a road test, and then on hard acceleration or moderate acceleration, the engine may feel like it's losing power, and then warning lights come on. Or worst of all, start it up, instantly have all these warnings, you can't drive your car at all. The codes are going to be multiple and random misfires. Most commonly would be 1 and 4 that I have experienced. Cylinder 1 has closer crankcase ventilation tubes to cylinder 1 intake port, causing that valve to take a beating. And since the engines are stroking on 4-stroke, which is mean 1 and 4 are firing at the same time, and 2 and 3 are firing at the same time. So that means it's sucking at the same time. They're pushing, they're pulling, they're firing. But what Honda's not doing is educating you and warning you consumers who have these cars, and they're just ramrodding it right up your ass. So if your vehicle's out of warranty, guess what they say? Sorry, too bad, you need a $5,000 cylinder head job. And Honda refuses to clean their high pressure GDI fuel injectors, so you need 4 new injectors. On top of that, it's consuming coolant, which is coming from a bad head gasket. And multi-layer shim head gaskets typically are very, very reliable. They do wear out in higher mileage, but to be failing at lower mileage, especially on a boost engine, tells me that probably the head bolts would be the problem. But then these manufacturers are dealing with Chinesium, with this recycled cast iron and aluminum on all this stuff. So a lot of challenges there. But how about Honda not stepping up and taking care of these customers? They're taking care of you while it's under warranty, but this should show a red flag to you, like, wow, my car needs engine work already at 30, 40,000 miles. But here's the remedy. Honda's recommending replacing your cylinder head with fuel injectors, actually requiring it. I've been fortunate enough to clean these valves, and I've had one actually come back that I do believe that the injectors were the culprit, but again, I don't have time to drive people's cars around for days and days and days. I have to get in it, drive it. We have limited staff here, and then sometimes get the customer involved on driving it to make sure that it's resolved, because not everything we fixed is going to be permanently fixed, because these vehicles need a drive cycle, and then these intermittents today are making me nuts. So Honda's not stepping up, but you have to be aware of these problems while it's under warranty. And you, as the consumer who has these newer Hondas, you can take it into Honda with your oil change that they're recommending at the wrong mileage for your car. And you should ask for them to camera your intake valves, and this will tell you what's going on. And hopefully they'll be truthful with you. And also demand that they open the radiator cap to make sure the cooling system is full of coolant. Because if it's not, guess what? The engine's consuming it. So these Honda techs all know this, and I doubt that their first priority is to eat, $1 billion worth of design problems. They just put that back on the consumer like everybody else. But yeah, your injectors definitely need to be maintenance every year with a GDI. This is just my opinion. And as they keep making them smaller and smaller and high pressure, it doesn't take much for them to get carbon on the tips and then clog on the inside, and then you have issues. And that's where super fuel, higher grade fuel, higher grade oils all come into play. But those guys are real scumbags. How about that? 1.925. I put 1.9 in it on Saturday, and I recovered the whole amount. Woohoo! So now we're on to this Ford who it cools on fan speed 2, 1, 2, very cold, and then when you go to 3, 4, and high, it blows warm and the compressor stays on. So I'm going after an orifice tube right now to see what that looks like. But yeah, if you got a Honda, don't ignore this. Even come into a shop like mine and ask what maintenance is required. And if you go into another shop and you ask for maintenance and they tell you an oil change and tire rotation, grab your keys and walk out, because they are uneducated. And that goes for a lot of cars today. There's so much neglected maintenance work out there that by the book is old school text. New school text is your vehicles need sooner maintenance, yearly maintenance. So 0 to 10,000 miles, it needs stricter maintenance, and so on and so forth.